Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of What's Up World Team, a special edition, this time joined by Lindsay and Tessa from the Haydenettes, and then 5 seniors from Miami University, Tori, Elena, Stephanie, Jamie, and Britton. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time, getting ready to leave for Worlds here that will be in Hungary, April 4th through April 8th through 9th, excuse me. So you have a long trip in store there. Just finished up the U.S. Synchronized Skating Championships a couple weeks ago, a few weeks to prepare here, and then off to the World Championships. So thanks for taking some time out of your training. Hey, Nets, we'll start with you guys. You were in Shanghai right after the Synchronized Skating Championships. Did a great job over there. Talk about sort of where you guys have been the last couple weeks and how you're building up to Budapest.
Sure. So the last couple of weeks have been really details focused. We had 2 really strong performances in Shanghai that we're really proud of. So our goal from here is to kind of finalize choreography, finalize head guides, toe points, things like that, so that by the time we get to Worlds in a couple of weeks, that it's really it's more polished than it was in Shanghai. We're also trying to build on our technical mark, things that we missed. We're really trying to make sure that they're consistent enough that we get them called at Worlds.
We know we haven't peaked yet, so we're hoping to do that at the World Championships.
Well, that is a good time to peak. Miami is actually on spring break this week, and you were saying you just got back to things today. Second place finish at the U.S. Championships. What have you all been doing the last few weeks in order to reach that peak?
I'd say we've actually been doing kind of a similar thing. We came back and started focusing on the details, taking smaller sections, finalizing counts, heads, arms, tracking, all things like that. And then we took a couple of days off for the first weekend of spring break, and we came back full force today, and it was really great, and it's great to be back and be preparing for Worlds. And now we're just taking bigger sections, working on consistency, and really pushing through everything to go out and put out our 2 greatest performances at World Championships.
Now you are on spring break, so that's it's got maybe it's a blessing in disguise, maybe it's not. I mean, I know you really can't enjoy it, but what does that do for you? You're not having to go to class. You have a little more free time. Does that allow you guys to gel as a group?
Yeah, we have a lot of extra on ice time, so it's really good. Little extra team bonding before Worlds, team meals, team events. So I think it's good that we have this week off with no class distraction to kind of help prepare for Worlds.
And hey, Nets, I mentioned this earlier. You guys jetted basically from Kalamazoo straight to Shanghai, a couple days in between there, and really put together a very nice performance at Shanghai Trophy. What does that do for your momentum as you enter really this home stretch of the season? And what was Shanghai like?
Shanghai was amazing. None of us had, well, I think only a few of us had ever been to China, so we really were unsure what to expect. We overpacked food, that is for sure. We were very, very prepared, which was really difficult because of the long trip. So we did a lot of stuff in advance as far as feeling at home when we were in China. When we got there, the people were super welcoming. The competition was very, very well run. It was a speed skating event, so we got to hang out with Team USA speed skaters and do things that we wouldn't have normally done at a synchro event. They also threw us into a finale with all the teams, which is something I've never experienced. It was really cool. It was definitely a step forward for synchro just in general. Coming from nationals was difficult. Like I said, it was almost 2 weeks together. Which can be hard. We also just were getting tired as the week was going on with jet lag and the 12-hour time difference. But we managed it really well, and we performed in the end, so that's really what mattered.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, we know that we can trust each other. That's what we proved to each other at Shanghai, that we can put out clean skates and we can stick together, and that's the momentum that's pushing us forward. We're sticking together through this last, final stretch to go and put out 2 strong skates in Budapest that we know we can.
Now, you guys sort of had an interesting start to the season, performing at the Grand Prix final in Barcelona. And I remember talking to you all in Kalamazoo, and you said it really changed the way that we had to prepare for the season because it started earlier. Maybe tell viewers sort of what that's doing for you now, at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's made for a much longer season than we're used to, but it's also helped our consistency. We started doing run-throughs months before we normally would have. So we've been doing run-throughs of our long program since early in the season. So now it's not so much about can we get through the program, do we have the stamina? It's we know we have the stamina, now let's get to those teeny tiny details that really matter.
Yeah, and it was great for us to get that kind of feedback early on in the season. Normally we don't get great international feedback till about January or February, so having that in December really helped us nail in the technical things that we were missing, nail in the presentation things we were missing early on, so we knew exactly what we needed to do for our next event. So it really just prepared us pretty well for the international season as well.
And in Miami, you guys also found yourself on the podium a couple times in international competitions this year so far. What does that do to confidence, early in the season? How do you stretch that out throughout the year?
Well, I think that we had a lot of excitement going into our two internationals this year, and I think both of them we were really happy with how we performed, and we were really excited to show strong performances from the U.S. along with the other teams that were at Mozart Cup and Spring Cup. So I think that it was really great to get, like the Haydenettes were saying, some good international feedback from those different judges and hearing different things than we just hear in the U.S. And it was really awesome and exciting for us to have great results with finishing on the podium too. So I think it was, really strong performances that we were happy with, just to kind of finish out the international season for the regular season.
I think especially having Spring Cup right before the national championships, it really boosted our confidence going back to Kalamazoo, coming off of 2 strong performances in Milan, and we were able to get a second place finish, which we were really happy with.
What do you guys do? I remember talking to you all in Kalamazoo too, and talking about those program components and really wanting to up that score. What kind of things are you doing to work on that?
Well, this week we've been really focused on details, like we kind of mentioned earlier. So we're just going through and hammering all the choreography, making sure that it's all unified so that, we can present that to the judges in a really strong way so that we can up those skating skills scores in the performance. And we spend a ton of time off ice too, going over just like little detailed movements so that, we can translate them onto the ice and make it one just big, I guess unified picture for lack of better words. And we really spend a lot of time too just kind of honing in on each different part of the music so that we can perform that and exemplify it in the best way possible so that it translates with the audience and with the judges. So.
And this next question, we'll open this up to both of you. Haydenettes, you guys can go first. At this point in the season, you've done you've run through these programs so many times. How do you stay sharp with it? I mean, to me, it would seem like it'd be really easy just to get bored with it and you start dropping the small details. How do you keep it exciting? How do you stay involved and energized?
I think that's exactly it. It's the small details that matter now. So there's things that we've been doing for months that we've kind of said, oh, wait a second, what was the count on that? What was the head guide? So we've gone back and we've looked at every single, even annoying little detail that, every single piece of it matters. So that's what we've really been focusing on, and that keeps us sharp.
Yeah, definitely. Saga's also told us before run-through start, pick one thing you want to focus on for this run-through. So for me, it would be, okay, this run-through, I'm going to think about my extensions and my crossovers. So it kind of helps pick one thing each time you do it because you're doing multiple run-throughs per practice, and to really think about one thing each time. We've also been doing drills at the start of practice, which is unusual for our competitive season. We don't do as many skills and drills type things, but she's been really making us stretch our limits, which has helped us apply those types of things into the program.
Miami?
Yeah, we've been doing the exact same thing, focusing on the details that we might have, forgotten about over the course of the season. We brought in our one of our choreographers before nationals and Italy, and we're bringing in our other one this weekend to just kind of add things and spice things up, so it keeps evolving and building throughout the season, and we don't get bored with the overall choreography. So that's been helpful in making sure that it stays fresh.
And since we do have a longer season, obviously we're back for spring break and we have more practice time on the ice, we're able to do more video, and this really helps us hone in on these specific details, and you're really able to see overall the bigger picture and like exactly what you need to do as an individual skater. So I would say it really helps us overall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to go to some fan questions. Fans, if you're watching, just a reminder, you can submit your question using hashtag #What'sUpWorldTeam, and we'll get it on air here. A few that came in earlier today from Twitter. What's the process for tryouts? I mean, how do you sort of, what's the actual process, and then how do you maybe mentally get ready for that when that's something you have to go through? Let's start with Miami.
All right. So our tryout process is usually our first week of classes, which is always exciting, especially for the first years. But it's pretty much every morning before you go to class. We're here at Goggin at 6 o'clock in the morning warming up. Everyone is in their black leotard and black skirt and tan tights, and we pin felt numbers to our fronts and our backs, and we form lines. And the first couple of days are skills and drills. You'll do stroking, you'll do crossovers, you'll do different turns and twizzles and field moves and all of that fun stuff. And then the last couple of days get into more team-related things. So we'll do things in lines. We'll go through warm-up blocks and our stroking line warm-up drills and all of that kind of stuff, just to see how the girls skate together and then how each girl skates on their own too. And then the trial process ends with individual programs. So that's each girl's way to showcase what they think they do best, how they skate best. And it's a fun week. It's a stressful week, but I think all of us having been through 4 of them now is, looking back on it, it's always a good time, and it's a really good bonding time for the team before the team is even decided.
Lindsay and Tessa?
So we actually just had our tryouts. So the current team does not try out again. It's just new members. So the new members will come try out, and they have a day of skills and drills where they learn what they'll be doing at the tryout. And the second day, Saga doesn't actually go. She brings in a panel of judges. So the judges are there to look at each individual skater. And from there, you'll either get a yes or an invitation to train with us for the spring. And from the spring training, everyone is at a level playing field, so even the girls returning are trying out again at that point. So it's about a month straight of training and skating all together with the people trying out and with the returning skaters. And from there, she decides the final team.
It sounds like everyone always has to sort of be on their toes, which I guess is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Another question from Twitter. What are your pre-competition rituals, and who is in charge of making the warm-up playlist? And I'll add in a bit of what's on the playlist. So a 3-part question. Miami, why don't you guys go first?
Okay, so many pre-competition rituals. I think my personal favorite is singing the fight song in the locker room before we skate. We always kind of get together, form a circle. We have a little bit of a pep talk just amongst ourselves, and we bust out in the skater version of Miami School Fight song. And it's loud, and it's a lot of fun, and it just gets all of us excited. It makes us feel really, really prepared. Mm-hmm. So, anyone else? What else do we do?
As far as our team playlist, we, I guess our team DJ is passed down every year, so whoever the DJ is kind of gets to, make the playlist and decide what's played on the bus in the locker room. So.
And what's on the playlist this year?
God.
I feel like it changes throughout the year, whatever is popular on the radio.
We have a few that always stick around. We're big fans of Turbulence. We like to make Turbulence on the bus every single time. We have one bus driver who likes to play along with us. It's great. She'll honk the horn and everything. What else?
300.
300. We love 300 Violin Orchestra. Remember the name. Always good one. Yeah,
lots of rap.
That's great. How about the Haydenettes? What do they do?
Yeah, so we have a few. We do a circle before we leave for competitions, like the last practice before we leave, and a couple of people will say a couple words, just thoughts before heading into a week of competition. We also have a couple cheers that we do at specific moments, and actually we can't talk to each other about what the words are, so you have to learn them just by doing them. It's a really interesting, especially when you're new to the team, trying to learn the cheers, but it's a really fun way to really get amped up before we leave the locker room. We have one we also do a meeting right before we leave for competition where a couple people speak as well. So we have a cheer there. As far as music, we have a committee for it. It gets passed down every year. Shout out to Sam for doing a great job this year. We make playlists for competitions that are like everyone gets to request whatever they want. So every time we're on the bus, it's play, 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 play. So we have like 60 to 70 songs that we listen to throughout the week. As far as locker room, we have a couple that have been around for like 10 years, we think at least. So you're going to hear that every time before you go out, and there's a few that interchange every year.
Yeah.
But
tradition's a big deal for the Haydenettes, and they've been around since the 80s, so there's a lot of traditions that we don't even know when they started, but we keep them up. Yeah, we keep them up.
Well, that makes for a good tradition. Another one from Twitter, and let's hear from everyone on this one. What's your favorite element and why? Lindsay, let's start with you.
With us? Oh. I like moves in the field a lot. Really showcases flexibility, ability to work together, especially in spirals, and we can make moves in the field really intricate, so I really like to watch what every team does with it.
Yeah, I don't think most people agree with me, but my favorite is the pivoting block, because I think if a team can do it, that just shows how unified they are, so it's very hard. It usually doesn't end very well, but when a team does it very, very well, you know that they're working together.
Alrighty, let's head to Oxford. What do you guys think?
I think my favorite's probably the no-hold element. I think there's always so much to it, and they're always so fun. And I think the cool thing about them, too, is they're so different team by team. Like, everyone has such a different, choreography, movements, turns. So I think it's really a time to show off all the skating skills, too. So, no-hold element.
My favorite element would have to be the moves in the field element. I think it's a really great opportunity for teams to showcase flexibility and overall skating skills throughout 135s, bowers, or spread eagles, and there are really lots of formations that teams can make, so it's always interesting to see what teams come up with every year.
I would say my favorite is no-point intersections, which sometimes they're scary, but I think when you nail them, it's like so exciting, and I feel like the crowd can like get excited when you watch like a really strong intersection, and I like to watch them too, not just skate them. So I think they're like can be a high point in a program when they're like really well executed.
I like whip intersections. I think they're also like really entertaining to watch, and see if they're gonna get through. And the whippier it is, the more cool it looks, and we like to see those strong C's coming in. So.
And I really like the group lifts. I think it's a great way to showcase both athleticism and artistry, especially with the difficult entries and exits that we have going, and having to switch position in the air and doing the balancing lifts, and even just seeing how it's evolved in like the past 4 years that I've been with Miami is really kind of incredible to watch, like the lifts that we've done, and then to watch the lifts that the Haydenettes do or some of the European teams do is really, really neat.
That's great, and we're getting tight on time here, so this will be the last one. Quickly, one word that describes how you feel about heading to Budapest. Miami, let's start with you guys. You each get a word, not each team. You each get a word.
Oh, you want to start? All right, wait. Are we starting with Hayden or us?
No, Miami's.
I feel like someone's on screen. All right. For me, it's going to be a phrase, and it's kind of a phrase that we use all year long just in everything that we do, and it's love and honor. I think it's just really, really meaningful to us as a team and to Miami as an organization, and that's kind of how we go into everything. So especially going into Budapest, we're going to practice with love and honor. We're going to go out and we're going to compete with love for honor, and it's definitely just something that resonates with me.
Yeah, I think honor is a really good one. I think we're just so honored to be able to represent our country at such a prestigious event, doing what we love, and especially as seniors, just one final time. So.
Yeah, mine's really similar to that. My word that came to mind was grateful. I think that everybody here is really grateful to have this opportunity, and we're really excited to have this time to represent the United States.
I would agree with the rest of my teammates, but I think the word that comes to mind is excited. We're all excited for our last couple of performances, and especially going to such a beautiful country. We're just excited for everything that's to come.
She stole mine, so the second one that came to mind, with obviously honored and just so excited. I would have to say confident. I think that we've truly put in all of the possible work that we could have, and I mean there's still even more to go. So I just think that we're at a really good spot going into Worlds right now.
Alrighty, let's head to Boston. What do you guys say?
Okay. I would say unified. We've been through a lot this season on and off the ice, so I think we're just going to trust each other and we're going to go into this together. So no matter what, go and come out together, and same with unified with the other U.S. team because we're rooting for them as well.
Yeah, no pun intended, but I think we're hungry. We're really, really looking for some big performances. We've done really well thus far this season with really putting ourselves out there and giving great performances, so we want to keep that going and really have an attack when we go out on the ice. And, of course, really humbled and honored to be representing our country with everyone else.
Well, I think that's a good one to end on. You heard it here. Team USA heading to Hungary, and they have an appetite. So they will be in the 2016 World Synchronized Skating Championships, April 8th and 9th in Budapest. Be sure to tune in to that. Of course, all your updates on the U.S. Figure Skating Fan Zone, and follow U.S. Figure Skating on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Guys, really want to thank you for taking the time. It's been a blast, and have a wonderful time in Hungary, and bring back some hardware.
Thank you.